The body doesn't lie. Our facial expressions, movement, and posture tell us everything we need to know about a person's present disposition without the need for it to be voiced. Using the latest theories in nonverbal psychology, one can see just how easily human emotion manifests physically in the body. That being said, does our body language present when we're seated reflect how we might be feeling? With our sample of 10 people unaccustomed to the camera, we observed this question in practice. Thinking the interview was just a personal survey, our participants had no idea that it would be their physical responses under the microscope and not their verbal answers. Body language is most clear when we're experiencing specific emotions, and so to conjure those specific emotions, we asked a range of light, philosophical, and a few scandalous questions to see exactly what their bodies had to say. Firstly, hands. We talk with our hands, but what's more is that our hands continue to talk even when we're not using them. Interlacing our hands can show authority and dominance in some contexts. In our study, it highlighted anxiousness. Only 2 of our 10 participants did not have their fingers interlaced. Some were tensely interlaced and as a result, frozen. Others were interlaced and fidgeting, which is expected from a group unaccustomed to studio lights and rolling cameras. Our next culprit is our beloved feet. We know for certain our interviewees weren't the most relaxed versions of themselves during the interview, which can be attributed to the fear of the unknown, upcoming questions, ego, or self-image. Interestingly, the feet largely mirrored the tension found in their hands, which manifested as restless toes and ankles that had our interviewees regularly switching up the placement of their feet. The face completes the trinity of tension. The predominant facial expressions recorded in our study tend to mirror our sample's inner emotions. Here, angst was the most prevalent, unprovoked by the filmmakers, might we add. This revealed itself through nervous laughter, anxious smiles, exaggerated facial expressions, and indirect eye contact with the interviewer. Zooming out, we see all the nonverbal responses communicating simultaneously. Tekla and Andy experienced some of the highest levels of anxiety in our sample of people. Tekla's jitters manifested with her body having a freeze response. She used the pillow as a substitute safety blanket with clasped, tense hands to ground herself. Her restless feet indicated what her hands were restrained from showing. The cherry on top was an upright posture, riddled with tension. Though Andy's feet were grounded, her fidgeting hands conveyed her angst. This was accompanied by nervous laughter with a slightly forward-leaning posture to shroud her midsection. All clear indications she was not at ease. Brenda conveyed these same levels of angst with her restless ankle and foot, crossed legs and caved-in posture, which are usually signs of someone harboring a false sense of comfort and self-preservation when threatened, uncomfortable, insecure, or anxious. Her interlaced and fidgety hands, tense face, and nervous laughter were mere accessories to this. Shayla and Naresh experienced milder levels of stress as opposed to Tekla and Andy, and largely mirrored each other's energy. We observed the frequent fiddling of fingers, an arm propped on the armrest to support a stiff posture, more Shayla in this instance than Naresh, who was far more comfortable in the setting with his legs resting further apart. Tension did occasionally creep into the feet too, specifically in Shayla's toes and Naresh alternating between sitting positions. Robert expressed similar changes in his feet and seating position. Where his seating changed, his fidgety fingers followed. Corinne and Robert had the most vivid tension in their faces as a result of strong emotions that surfaced for them. Similar to Tekla, Corinne's hands remained interlaced and tensed, which forced more tension into her face, shoulders, and feet. Similar to Brenda, Esti's restless foot, interlaced fingers, and tightly crossed legs suggest that she may be experiencing a false sense of comfort by closing her body off and shielding herself from anticipated harm. This being an innate protection mechanism people have adapted over thousands of years. Similar to Shayla, Darnie held tension in his propped up arm, which gave him a stiffer posture and form from the neck down. Though largely relaxed in her speech, Franzel held tension in her shoulders, face, legs, and fingers, partially as a result of her awkward posture that was angled askew. Bodily tension and anxiety is normal. It means our bodies are alive and responsive. Our findings, though not academically peer-reviewed, have some merit in understanding that no matter what position the human body is in, it will continue to communicate non-verbally, whether we grant it permission to or not. That is it. That is our interview. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Thank you.
So, before you go, what do you think the interview was about?
What did I think?
Yes, because we didn't tell our interviewees
Yes.
what that was
Well,
about.
if it was a documentary, I think I'm going to ask a lot of questions about my past.
So we were actually observing body language today.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, body language.
Oh, my
Okay.
word.
So you're looking at the way we are
How
answering.
you non-verbally respond to certain questions that
Are you going to dissect that? Oh, my word.